Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. We have escaped the arena, and as we were doing so we got a level up, which is a pretty big level up because this is us moving from the two classes that we have set across the previous 36 levels, and now we are moving into completely uncharted territory, which will be fun. We also have a kind of weird moment to explore. There's a lot of people here who just don't really seem to care that we are here. So I'm assuming there's going to be a little bit of wandering around, a little bit of exploring, and a little bit of figuring out what to do next. Although I did see over here, we do have Pascal and Argenta, so I kind of assume that this is the way forward, but who knows? Who knows? Also, no Jai with them, or actually no, Jai is the only other one missing. Interesting. Anyway, let's do some level ups and figure out exactly what we're doing with this system. So, let's open the character menu. Let's go. Oh, also just a little check-in. We're at 212. Need 300 for Fanatic at this level. Okay, interesting. So, this unlocks Exemplar. What is Exemplar? Mere survival in the grim darkness of the far future is no easy task. To thrive in it, a next to impossible one. But some manage to go beyond and become Exemplars. Not only do Exemplars possess extraordinary knowledge in their given archetypes, but they've also reached the pinnacle of mastery, transcending what is thought to be possible. Core focus. Additional abilities and talents from previous archetypes, new Exemplar talents. Ooh, so previous archetypes. I assume it must be previous archetypes that your character has, but it could be interesting if they're not. That would explain a comment I got that said that this could take us a long time. Also, new Exemplar talents. Huh, intriguing. Okay, well, let's click in. We know this character fairly well. It's our character. We use it the most, so. Archetypes. Warrior or officer or operative or soldier, and that. Yeah, okay, so that's just saying the prerequisites to get here is we have to have done the previous archetypes. Exemplar talent, first tier archetype talent. Oh, so first tier. So I'm assuming this is first tier. This is second tier. Oh, so we'll get an operative and a grand strategist talent. How interesting! Get more AP at this rank here, and you get more AP at this rank here. And then I assume that this is the final. As in, like, this is as far as you can go. Interesting. Unless, of course, you can loop Exemplar. Like, maybe if you get enough XP, you just loop and keep going. But I assume that this is the final rank. Okay. Can we see a second one? I just want to see second tier, common, second tier, first tier, common. Interesting. Okay, what's in the Exemplar talents? Oh my lord, there are a lot of them. And what's also interesting about there being a lot of them is that you cannot take a common talent, right? You have to take an Exemplar talent. Okay. Well, let's read them. After an ally takes an extra turn provided by the character, the ally gains 7% armor, 7% dodge, and 3 movement points. Okay. Interesting. Not obviously something for us, but interesting. Cataclysm. All damage dealt by the character is increased by 3% until the end of combat for every new enemy damaged by them this combat. Okay, so that would be the kind of thing that we'd be looking for say, an Ulfar, for an Argenta, maybe even for an Abelard, or actually Marazai would be great as well here. Just somebody who's attacking huge numbers of enemies in combat. This would start to be a very good thing for them. Combat meditation. The character gains 15 willpower as long as they have no ranged weapons equipped. Staffs do not count as ranged weapons. Oh, so a staff like, for instance, the one that Cassia uses. Aha, or a Psyker one. Okay, interesting. Contagion. Whenever the character applies blinded, slowed, fatigued, perplexed, or disturbed effects, one random enemy within 5 cells of the target also gains the effect for 1 round. The same happens if the character inflicts stunned or prone, but the random target makes a resistance test to avoid the effect. Okay, giving you a way to spread your crowd control around. So chuck blinded onto someone, say with Dira, and then that would then spread to somebody else. Okay, interesting. I need to stop saying interesting. The character's critical hit chance and critical damage are increased by 7% of their dodge. This is something where I would be looking at either an Argenta or a Marazai for this. This would not be, for instance, something I would take on Earliette, because their dodge is not really the stat we're trying to increase. And we don't need critical hit chance on them. The characters, although actually critical hit chance I guess isn't that useful on Argenta, but the critical damage would be, so anyway. The character's first melee attack each round deals an additional +2 damage for every cell between the character's current position and the spot where they started their turn. The distance is measured in a direct line, ignoring all terrain, with every second diagonal cell counting as 2. Okay, that is definitely looking like a Marazai thing if anyone's taking it, but I don't know. Maybe Marazai or potentially Abelard if we're going to use heroic axe to get there. Where are we? Deadly aim. If the character's dodge reduction is higher than the enemy's dodge, before applying the heavy or medium armor penalty modifier, because otherwise that would, I assume, if you didn't do that, then whatever this is going to do would be incredibly strong against tougher enemies, so they don't want that to happen. The character's damage against that enemy is increased by 1% for every 5% difference between the character's dodge reduction and the enemy's dodge. Bonus damage is tripled for critical hits. Yeah, so if this was, for instance, on a character who had heavy armor, so they were taking a huge penalty to their dodge, this would be OP, right? Because they would end up with a very, very low dodge number, which would then mean the damage comes in at a huge... It would be a huge amount of damage. It's still probably going to do a lot to them because they'll likely not have a lot of agility because they're a character that's going to be wearing heavy armor, but still. This would seem like it could also... This would seem like an Earliette kind of thing. Earliette or Marazai, because Earliette has a lot of perception, which means that she has a lot of natural dodge reduction. Marazai has some dodge reduction in his abilities. Okay, I can definitely see how these are going to enhance different builds. They're definitely going to make it so that different builds become a lot stronger, a lot quicker, if you get the right thing for the right character. Every round, after the character kills the first enemy, the character immediately makes an additional single attack against the closest enemy they can target with the same weapon if possible. This attack deals 30% base damage with a 10% bonus for every difficulty tier of the first killed enemy. If the enemy was of difficulty tier 1, this attack deals 40% damage in total. This is an Earliette one, because she has a weapon that only can shoot, well, 2 times a turn with her bonus shot, right? So, this gives her an extra shot on that weapon. That is very, very good for her to just get another enemy bursted down. It gives her the ability to effectively have AoE damage without necessarily having AoE damage. I don't know who else this would be useful on. Maybe Ulfar? Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think. Maybe Argenta, because it would count as another attack, but I don't know. Anyway, degraded defense. Whenever the character deals damage to an enemy, that enemy suffers 1 stack of the degraded defense effect for every 6 damage the character has dealt. Whenever an ally attacks that enemy, they deal additional damage equal to the number of degraded defense stacks. Now, you see, if you had this and Death Dealer combined together, and you had it on someone like Earliette, she's going to be doing a ton of damage. So she's always going to be doing, like, 50 plus damage, right? Well, let's say 60 plus damage. So, she's going to be putting 10 stacks of that on people that she's hitting. So, if you had that and Death Dealer, suddenly you could shoot 3 people in combat and have all of them taking huge amounts of extra damage from your party members. Meaning that she turns less from a, I'm going to kill that one enemy type character, more into a, I'm going to hurt a variety of enemies and then let someone else just sweep them off the battlefield with, like, say, a burst fire attack. Destroyer. Every melee attack the character makes reduces the target's armor by -4% until the end of combat. Is that based off toughness or strength? Strength. Okay. This reduction is applied before the damage is calculated and it stacks. Okay. So at very base level is -4 armor to something you're attacking with a melee attack. And then obviously the more you can attack them, the more you get a bonus on it. Ulfar, I think, is the only person who could properly use that for us, but anyway. When targets pushed by the character collide with enemies or cover, both the target and the object they collide with suffer an additional 2 times the character's strength bonus damage. Again, that's kind of an Ulfar thing. He's the only person who pushes anyone. Eager for battle. During the first turn of combat, the character has 2 additional action points. Huge for our versatility users, because the more action points they have at the start of combat, the more versatility they can stack early, the earlier they can get the wildfires. Big for Marazai as well, just because he can do a lot of different actions, although I guess Marazai's other issue is that he actually runs out of attacks a little bit, so if he could get an extra attack, that would be great. When allies take extra turns given by the character, they deal 15% more damage. Wonderful. Not for us. I mean, it would be for Jai or Cassia, but anyway. Any damage the character deals is increased by 1 for every attack they have made this combat. Does not affect damage over time effects. Yeah, obviously this is an Ulfar Argenta thing. There are a lot of Ulfar Argenta things, because I think they're able to utilize a lot of different things. But, Ulfar switches between a lot of attacks. Like he can attack like 6 times in one turn. That then means that your base damage is stacking and goes up. Marazai, we noticed, had a lot of multipliers for his damage, but he didn't have a lot of base damage. Again, this gives him a lot of base damage that he could use. He can attack like 4 times in a turn. It's pretty good. If an extra turn given by the character's abilities or talents grants MP, the target gains 4 additional MP. If AP, the target gains 1 additional AP. This would turn, and I know we're going over ground here, but this would turn like an officer's extra turn into an even better extra turn, because it would mean that instead of 2, you getting 2 AP, you're now getting 3 AP, and that's more than half a turn's worth. There's a lot you can do with 3 AP. Allies within 2 cells around the character deal 3 plus the character's fell bonus % more damage and suffer 3 plus character's toughness bonus % less damage. If multiple characters have this talent, the effect does not stack. I don't really like the within 2 cell abilities, but they're probably very good. Flesh wounds. At the start of the character's turn, they restore 10% of their maximum wounds. If the character has less than 20% wounds left, they instead restore 20% of their maximum wounds. Useful again for someone like Ulfar or maybe Abelard who have a very high health pool. This then just keeps them topped up. Characters that consider the character a priority target deal 40% less damage to that character's allies. We have very few ways to apply priority target, but it could be good if we get more. Enemies that have 0 deflection or 0% armor against the character's attacks suffer plus 10% additional damage from the character. If an enemy has both 0 deflection and 0% armor, those damage bonuses stack. Now we do have a way of actually forcing that to happen with the number of stacks that we have through exploits. So we could, in theory, stack exploits for a couple of turns, drag down an exposed weakness, and then hit him for 20% extra. There were options. Okay, we got something that says int. The character gains 2 plus int bonus divided by 2% bonus to armor, armor pen, dodge reduction, critical hit chance, critical damage, and parry chance. Okay. Is quite nice. I think this could be quite good for us. It's obviously far better for Pascal, because he uses every single one of those stats. Maybe he doesn't use dodge, but he uses every single other one of those stats very well. So, yeah. But it could be good for us. I mean, in theory, that's a lot of extra stuff, right? Int bonus is 6, so 3%. So it's 5% bonus to armor, armor pen, dodge reduction, critical hit chance, critical damage, and parry chance. Okay. Enemies hit by the character with a melee attack must pass a willpower resistance test or make the character their priority target until the character's next turn. Okay, that gives you a way to apply priority target very easily. So, you know, you could do that, combine it with full attention, and suddenly you got some stuff going for someone like Abelard, right? Especially if he uses the AoE melee attack to do it. Malign Influence. Whenever the enemy fails a willpower resistance test against the character, they suffer 3 plus the character's willpower bonus direct damage. On success, the damage is doubled. On success, the damage is doubled. Whenever they fail... Oh, right, so... Okay, I understand. So if an enemy fails a resistance test, they take 3 plus the character's willpower bonus, direct damage. If they succeed it, they take double the damage. Oh, okay. Interesting. Whenever the character is attacked by an enemy, they gain momentum equal to the difficulty tier of the attacking creature. That's kind of like an Abelard thing, I guess. You know, somebody who you want to be your tank, stick him in the middle, he survives but gains a ton of momentum. When the character's single shots deal damage to targets other than their main target, they gain ballistic skill until the end of combat. That's kind of like an Earliette thing with her ability to pierce through enemies. Maybe Argenta. Masterful Precision. Excuse me, this is very long. Deadeye shots deal an additional 3 times perception bonus damage. The following ranged attack abilities gain Deadeye shot benefits. 1.5 times the range. Wait, Deadeye shot gives you 1.5 times the range? And the additional damage from the talent itself. Okay. So, this means that, like, Killing Edge would become a Deadeye shot. Okay. But that would also mean that you would get the Deadeye shot benefits that we've been seeing on items as well. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Weird. I don't know, currently. Whenever the character pushes an enemy, the character gains MP. Alright, Ulfar. These MP are added after the attack and allow the character to continue movement. Damage dealt by collisions from pushes is increased by 4%. I'm assuming that's strength, right? Yep. Okay. Peak Condition. The character gains a bonus to their strength equal to 20% of their maximum wounds. Character gains a bonus to their strength equal to 20% of their maximum wounds. Interesting. I've said it again. I said something I shouldn't have said. Interesting. This would be really good in someone like Ulfar, who's got like 140 health. 20% of 140. 28. So that would give him 28 strength. That's pretty good. Okay. Same for Abelard. I think he's got about 100 health, so about 20 extra strength. Okay. The character gains +5 to all characteristics. The bonus is doubled when they have 25% wounds or less. I don't want to have 25% wounds or less, so I wouldn't take it, but okay. The character ignores ballistic skill bonus divided by 2 of the character's deflection, rounded down. Alright, that's like an Earliette kind of thing. Maybe an Argenta kind of thing. Psychic Awakening. You can become an unsanctioned psyker. So if you think that having some psychic powers would help you, then you can get some. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if we would take these, but that is interesting to have the ability to grab another psychic power. Okay. Puncture. If the character's armor penetration is higher than the enemy's armor, the character's critical hit chance against that enemy is increased by 2% for every 5% difference between the character's armor penetration and the enemy's armor. We've seen the other one of this, haven't we? The other one was dodge. Okay. Okay. Cool. Whenever the character is healed, they regain 5 times the character's toughness bonus % more wounds. We actually don't heal that much, weirdly. Whenever the character loses wounds, their next melee attack gains 1 damage for every 2 wounds the character has lost stacks. Now, this wouldn't be so good for Abelard, But for Ulfar, this could be good, and for Marazai, where we're deliberately hurting him, this could be very good. Shot through. The character's attacks gain additional ballistic skill divided by 2% over penetration. The over penetration attacks cannot be dodged. Okay, so that allows you to trigger some of the other stuff, where we've got other, like the single shot going through people abilities. That would help you a lot with that. Character's deflection is doubled against single target attacks. Okay. Simple enough, it's a tank ability. The character gains 12 wounds. These wounds are further increased by toughness, increasing by 10 times by toughness bonus % in the same way as basic wounds. Okay. Then you could use that with the strength one to then gain even more strength. Yeah, like if you had Abelard, who's got, what, 8 toughness? He would have an 8 toughness bonus, 18% more, 12 wounds. Yeah, you're almost getting to the point where you're getting like some serious strength numbers out of that. Okay. As long as the character wears light armor, their dodge is increased by half of their armor bonus of that armor. Okay. The character gains a bonus to all resistance tests equal to 5 times deflection. Again, it's a tank thing. Tanks, I guess, tend not to have good willpower, so this is probably a thing that helps you fix your willpower issues. Unstoppable. The character becomes immune to all effects that reduce their MP. They gain toughness bonus divided by 2 MP. Okay. Interesting. I've said interesting again. Right. I know we just read through these, but we read through them with a general thought. Now, specifically for Malachi, what ones do we think are good? Well, he doesn't provide an extra turn. We don't damage a lot of enemies. We could, I suppose. Character gains willpower as long as they have no ranged weapons. No. If the character applies an effect. No. Critical hit chance is a percentage of dodge. No. Melee attack. No. Dodge reduction is higher than their dodge. No. After you kill an enemy. Doesn't happen. Applies degraded defense to enemies. Maybe. Melee attack, no. Pushing, no. Extra action points, maybe. Probably not, but we'll just click it because it's kind of interesting. Any damage the character deals is increased by 1 for each attack they've made this combat. No. Extra turn, no. Flag bearer, no. Flesh wounds, no. Priority target, no. Grievous wounds, no. No at all. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Enemies hit by the character's melee attack, no. Willpower test, no. When you're attacked, no. Single shots other than their main target, no. Deadeye shots deal more stuff, no. No. Strength equal to 20% of their maximum wounds. 20% of 65 is 12-ish? Okay, no. Well, it's obviously not 12-ish, but you know what I'm meaning. It's around that area. Plus 5 to all things, maybe, I guess. You know, it's kind of good. Ballistic skill divided by 2 of enemy deflection is ignored. Psychic abilities? Not sure. Losing wounds doesn't happen. Nope. 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 Maybe. Nope. No. What's Unbreakable Will? Nope. Okay, that's fine. No at all. 2 plus int bonus divided by 2% armor. Armor penetration, dodge, dodge reduction, critical hit chance, critical damage, and parry chance. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And we're going to try and increase our int bonus, so that seems like that's just good. Okay. First tier architect talents. Okay. Just wondering what these are. So, it looks like you don't get access to common talents in here. But, you do get access to your origin talents. Okay. Just seeing what we have here. No, so we don't need any of the Hive World stuff. This didn't work last time we saw it, although we were only using a single weapon. We also don't tend to use physical weapons as much anymore. If you have no stacks of Surefire Plan to gain 1 stack, maybe we should use Surefire Plan more. An enemy affected by Surefire Plan also suffers a penalty to dodge reduction and parry reduction, maybe. The bonus to dodge and parry from Surefire Plan is increased by 2 times Agi bonus, no. Once per combat, if the Crown Lord has at least 1 stack of Surefire Plan, they do not die from lethal damage. Doesn't come up very often. Okay, now we're back into operative stuff. While the operative's perception bonus is 10 or higher, they gain 1 AP and ignore enemy deflection. Okay, that's not the case for me though. Whenever the operative attacks an enemy that is at full wounds, that attack deals 10 plus perception bonus % more damage. No. Whenever the operative hits an enemy that is affected by both an exploit and exposed weakness, the enemy loses 3 MP and their damage is decreased by 20% on the next turn. Okay. Exposed weakness costs 0 AP. The operative's allies gain the operative's int bonus divided by 2% hit chance and critical hit chance when attacking targets affected by exploits. Now that's potentially really good because we have a lot of exploits that get spread around because we gain exploits at the start of our turn. So that could be very, very good. And it's not just our exploits, it'll be the exploits applied by Urliette, by Pascal, by Idira. And, you know, it's an extra 3% hit chance and critical hit chance. Maybe it's not insane, but as we raise our int, it becomes a little better. On the first turn of combat, the operative randomly distributes the same number of exploits as when using analyzed enemies among all enemies in a 10-cell radius around the operative. At the start of each of the operative's subsequent turns, they distribute half as many exploits among all enemies in a 2-cell radius around. So it gives you a lot at the start. Okay, maybe. If an enemy is affected by an exploit within 5 cells of the operative attacks the operative or their allies, the enemy suffers 1 additional exploit. If the operative has not moved this turn, they gain 6 ballistic skill and int bonus divided by 2 damage on single shot attacks for every 5 cell between them and the target. We do have a lot of int, but it's only 3 damage. Perfect Spot additionally grants the operative 5 plus perception bonus % armor pen. Okay. Weak body, weak soul. Exposed weakness also reduces toughness and willpower by 3 times int bonus. Okay. I like this one. I think joint offense sounds quite nice. And I wonder if that stacks if you have other people with it. Interesting. Well, let's take it. So we have now got our first level up. Wonderful. Also just going to go out and do a quick save here just so that we have that level up here. I'm also thinking the whole episode is likely going to be leveling up. Just so when we get into things next time, we're ready to go. Okay, Abelard, you have the same kind of things here. Let's just do a quick one through here and then we'll see what kind of things he needs. I think that willpower is potentially not the worst thing in the world for him, so I'll take it. I'm more clicking things that they can use, right? Let's just click things that seem like they can use them and then try and judge between these. Yeah, no. 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 New. Nope. 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 Maybe. Full attention. Maybe. No at all. That's definitely not for him. Lethal threat. Enemies hit with a melee attack must pass the willpower resistance test. Or have this guy be their priority target. Maybe. Nope. Martyrdom seems interesting. Masterful display. No. Nope. If the character pushes. No. Bonus to strength equal to maximum wounds. These are locked for him. Interesting. Oh, why were they locked for him? I guess if you have any of these, you're not allowed it. Alright, like if you're a psyker, if you're a Navy officer. Okay, I see. That's fine. Yeah. Let's continue just clicking ones that seem interesting. That one seems good. Although, actually, he doesn't lose wounds. He loses temporary wounds, so it probably doesn't count. That seems good. That seems good. That seems good. Okay. So he has a lot more that I ticked as potential targets for him. So if we got a lot that make him tougher. This one gives him wounds, increased by toughness. So it'll be 10 times 8. Yeah, so... Oh, sorry, that's 80% bonus to toughness, not 18, because that's times. There's an 80% bonus to that 12, so it's like effectively 20 extra wounds. Okay, interesting. Unbreakable Will is nice. He does have 4 deflection currently. Means he has 20 bonus to resistance tests. We can make it so that you can't be stopped, which would be interesting. A bonus to strength equal to 20% of their maximum wounds, so he's at 75. Give him 18 currently. That's quite a lot of a strength bonus, especially as strength gives him like that gives him a lot more because he uses a two-handed weapon. Martyrdom's a good way to gain momentum. I actually don't think that lethal threat is good for him. I've decided, well, the reason I don't think it's good is because I think you more want to do that if you're going to make a lot of attacks, right? Or do a lot of AoE ones. He tends not to. Yeah. I think this seems fine. Yeah, I actually think this is the best one to take. Peak condition. I think this is going to give him a lot of extra strength. And that in of itself is going to be very useful. Now he gets to have a... What's it called? A warrior one? Okay. So we got anything in here that seems good. What's also kind of cool is that we're getting to see the first tier archetypes again. So if there's anything in there that we thought, oh, actually that would be really good, but we didn't take it out at the time because we had no use for it, but now that's how the character is, like, that's what the character is growing into. Now now we have an opportunity to fix things. If nobody else has an archetype, it costs 1 less. So that means his first Vanguard would cost 1 less. Okay. Get into cover. Honestly, I don't think that's good. Get out of here. Attacks of opportunity deal 10 plus 3 times weapon skill bonus % less damage to the warrior. Oh, I don't care. Whenever an enemy attacks the warrior's next melee attack against that enemy deals an additional 8 damage. Does not stack, but can be reactivated after another attack made by either the same enemy or a different one. Okay. So that could be really good with our ability to parry and then do an attack back. You know, they hit us, we immediately parry and then hit them for a bigger attack back. Is that a strength-based one, or what's that based off? Toughness. Okay, Contempt is okay. Crowd Kill. Area attacks deal an additional 1 plus strength bonus divided by 2 damage for each enemy in the area of effect. If the warrior is not attacked this turn, they gain a bunch of armor. Charge and slash do not affect this bonus. Okay, maybe. Desolation. The warrior's melee attack deals an additional 3 damage to enemies that have no adjacent allies. Okay. When the warrior uses a single shot attack or melee attack against a target, the warrior gains 5 plus 2 times toughness bonus % armor against attacks made by that target. If the warrior has less than 50% wounds, they gain 5 plus toughness bonus plus agi bonus % critical hit chance. Okay. Damage dealt by charge is increased by toughness bonus plus strength bonus when the ability is used from a distance of 5 or more cells. See, this wasn't that useful when we first had it because the numbers were really low. But now we're getting plus 18, so we'll be on 93 strength and 80 toughness. So that's going to be 17 extra damage that we would get with this. A 17 damage increase. Now that's worth thinking about. When the warrior parries an attack, their next warrior archetype ability costs 1 AP less. Probably unneeded. Invigorated Hatred. When the warrior ends their turn near an enemy affected by sworn enemy ability, the warrior gains 2 plus toughness bonus temporary wounds. 10 temporary wounds. Maybe. Enemies suffer a penalty to hit chance with ranged weapons against the warrior for every enemy in a 1 cell radius around them. If there are no enemies adjacent to the warrior, they gain 2 times strength bonus for 1 attack. Charge and push increase the damage of ranged attacks made against the affected enemies by 5 plus weapon skill bonus % until the end of combat. Increases charge distance by 3 cells. The warrior becomes incredibly deft. Charge and slash do not end the warrior's movement and grant 10 plus agi bonus % dodge. I like the extra damage from charge. I like contempt quite a lot as well. I think I'm going to take the extra damage from charge. I think that gives you just a huge ability to just kill one enemy at the start of combat. And it works really well with strength. And I think I'm probably going to take the Exemplar one that gives him extra wounds on his next level up, which means that he's going to have more strength, and then it's going to be great. Yeah. So he is now a lot stronger than he was. He's going to do a ton of damage. Is it not? I think it's like 5% for every... Or is it... It might be 10% for every bonus that you've got. Extra damage with a two-handed weapon. I think that's the way it works now. So he might be doing 90% more damage with his basic attack. We then add 17 extra damage on a charge. You can see where things start to get crazy. Earliet, let's level you up. So, Exemplar talents. Yeah, so none of these extra turn ones are needed. New enemies damaged, probably not needed. You use ranged weapons, so literally not needed. Your dodge, I guess it is 125%. Maybe we'll just have a look at that. You know, 7% of their dodge. What is 7% of 125? Well, 7% of 100 is 7. I know, I'm crazy. 25 is half. Is a quarter of that. So you get like 1.25 on that. So it'd be 1. So that means it's 8%. This is 8% critical hit chance and critical damage. Am I crazy in saying that? I don't think I'm crazy in saying that. That's not a lot. That's not a lot at all. It's almost nothing. Okay. Well, interesting. We'll still have it there because we can use it, but it's not as useful as you would think. Dodge reduction is not very high actually, so that doesn't seem very good. Death Dealer. After you kill a target, immediately make another shot. Okay, degraded defense as well. We already talked about it. Eager for battle, gain more action points. She actually doesn't need it. She's one of the few that doesn't need more action points. She already does what she needs to do with the action points given. Potentially good. Yeah, potentially good. Know-it-all. She doesn't have a lot of int, does she? No. Characters, blah blah blah. None of these are needed. Single shots that hit someone other than the main target gain ballistic skill. Oh, okay, maybe. Need to move a lot. This one gives you 3 times perception bonus % bonus damage. Perception is 85. So you're talking about 3 times 8, so 24% more damage. So that's 24% more damage if you use a Deadeye shot, which to be fair, we haven't been using. But we also boost her perception when we give her the extra stuff from, say, a Jai move. That would then give her even more base damage on it. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, don't think we need that. I like the ignoring that. We don't run into that much deflection that we can't get through, though. Nope. I don't know what our armor pen is, but I don't think it's generally needed. Whenever the character loses wounds, no. Don't think we need over-penetration. We have an ability for that we don't use. Okay. So, we're talking masterful precision for 24% extra damage. This for 5 ballistic skill if we shoot through. This is 20% damage if we can get deflection and armor to 0. Well, actually, if we can get deflection and armor to 0, yeah, it's 20%. Otherwise, we can get 10%. Degraded defense is a ton of extra damage for your allies. Death dealer is another attack. Critical velocity is 8%. I like this one. I think this one is good. Claim the bounty, actually, to be fair, also gains the extra damage. I think that's the tipping point for me. Claim the bounty gaining the extra damage is actually huge. Yeah, because we use that every single turn. So that's fantastic. Oh yeah, we took the ones that made in my sights better and then never use it properly. Okay, that's fine. When the operative's perception bonus is 10 or higher, they gain 1 AP and ignore the enemy's deflection. That's kind of possible, actually, because we can give ourselves extra... If we give ourselves the buff, right, that you get from an officer, that puts it to 10 or higher, right? Immediately. Okay. Whenever the operative hits an enemy that's affected by both an exploit and exposed weakness, the enemy loses 3 MP and no damage is reduced. No. If the operative uses precise attack on a target affected by 10 minus int bonus or more exploits and scores a hit, that hit becomes critical. Not needed. Exposed weakness costs 0. No. The operative's allies gain an int bonus divided by 2% hit chance. No, not needed. Suffers less damage? No. No. No, these all require people to be nearby. Perfect spot gives you armor penetration. Okay. It's kind of useful. Whenever you trigger an exploit, you gain 1 damage and 2% armor penetration till the end of combat. Okay. I mean, you could get a reasonable amount off of that. Inflicts an exploit even on enemies which are out of the operative's line of sight at the start of a turn. That's useful. Yeah, that's useful. Exposed weakness also reduces enemies' toughness and willpower. Okay. I kind of think this one's really good. But maybe it's more consistent if we wait a little bit on that one. Tides of Excellence seems like that should stack very quickly. Yeah. I think Tide of Excellence should stack quickly. Let's take it. So we've taken Masterful Precision to make our Deadeye shots better. And then we've taken Tides of Excellence to give ourselves extra damage. Cool. Ulfar. Ah, a character where I said this would be good. This would be good for Ulfar. This would be good for Ulfar. Damage for every new enemy. Okay. Yeah. First melee attack each round deals 2 damage for each cell. Nope. 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 Every melee attack reduces the target's armor. Nope. Target's pushed. It might as well click it so that we see it. First turn of combat gives you more AP. I mean, that's kind of useful. Damage increased by 1 for each attack made. Love it. Actually, a lot more useful for someone like Argenta, though, who uses burst attacks all the time. Because with a burst attack, each and the fact that she has all the multipliers to damage, each +1 stacks a lot quicker. Right? Because each +1 becomes like +10. Then you're off to the races. Flesh wounds, obviously, okay. Grievous wounds, probably not. Know-it-all, you're not that smart. No. Or that's whenever they make a willpower test. Whenever they attack with melee attack, they must make a willpower resistance test to make this target their priority target. No. He has 193. I know what I'm taking. Like wounds. We'll just see what we got here. Like, I mean, it's gotta be peak condition, right? It's just gotta be. Let's continue going through these. just so we have what they might want. Revenge seems good. It's that their next melee attack gains 1 for every 2 wounds they've lost. Okay. I guess more wounds is probably good. Unbreakable Will is probably good because he has 6 deflection. Stoppable. Yeah, okay. This seems like a good selection we've got here. I mean, toughest, not toughest steel, not revenge. Where are we? Peak condition does give him 38 strength. So just remember, anything else is competing with 38 strength. Yeah, I mean, I can't see how +1 damage for every attack is going to outperform 38 extra strength. It's got to be that. It's just an easy choice. Okay. Death World character things. Not sure we need any of these. No, we've already gone through those before, I think. So, these are soldier ones. For each adjacent ally, soldier deals more damage. Not going to be a problem. Or, like, we're not going to use it. Demolition, instead... The soldier's demolition, instead of intelligence, is used to determine additional damage dealt with ranged attacks. Okay, doesn't matter. Enough bullets for everything. The soldier's second attack in a turn deals 5 plus 2 times agi bonus % more damage to enemies that have not suffered damage. Not going to be something we do. Whenever a soldier deals damage, their critical damage is increased by 1% till the end of combat. Okay. Whenever the soldier has an ally adjacent to them, not a problem. That's not going to happen. Whenever you have full cover, not going to happen. Throw grenades, not going to happen. At full wounds, let's not joke about that. That's not going to happen. First hit of a burst weapon deals more damage. Not going to be something that we need to worry about. Area attacks, no. After you deal 3 damage to 3 different enemies, soldier gains 10 plus 2 times ballistic skill bonus % more damage for their next attack in the current combat. So 16, so it's 26% more damage, potentially. Rapid reload. Reload costs 2 less, minimum 1. That did come up, actually. Revel and Slaughter can be used after 2 kills. He has Revel and Slaughter? Did I miss that? He must have it. Maybe it's not on his bar. Whenever the soldier successfully dodges or uses cover against an enemy attack, they gain a guaranteed critical hit against that enemy. Okay. No. I do like whenever they deal damage, their critical damage increased by 1%, but that does imply you have to crit. 3 different enemies. Huh. I went through that and really did not find anything I wanted to use, huh? Rapid reload, I guess. Actually, that's pretty good. Let's take rapid reload. Why not? If a combat lasts for a longer amount of time, it becomes really good. Okay. That's him set with 129 strength. His athletics is now 156, and it means if he uses a 2-handed weapon, he is very, very good. I do have Revel and Slaughter, I just never use it, I guess. I should use it. Okay. Also, I was going to change his weapon over to using the Astartes chainsword. Yeah. That was the one I was going to give him. Okay. Sure. Seems alright. Do a quick save. Let's have a look at Marazai. Marazai. So I'm just going to select things that again seem useful. And he often applies these negatives, so that seems useful. Willpower? Maybe. He doesn't really use it though. This is increased by a percentage of his dodge. Okay. I mean, that's kind of good for him. He does have a lot of dodge, but anyway. Crushing Assault. I think that seems useful as well. The ability to gain a ton of base damage. If the dodge reduction is higher than the enemy's dodge, they gain more % damage, and it's tripled for critical hits. Every melee attack reduces target's armor. by 4% until the end of combat. That potentially could be good. Depends how you want to build them, really. As additional action points. His problem is action points, but it's also just pure number of attacks. If we had more attacks, then the action points would be a bigger issue. Yeah, extermination is good. I like the flat damage on him. See in here if there's anything else that we need. Malign influence, probably not. Martyrdom, no. Well, I guess lethal threat is kind of interesting. Although we don't want them to be priority targets, so why would we take that? Masterful precision, by the way, gives you the perception bonus to to Killing Edge and Death Whisper, which is cool. However, his perception is garbage, so you know, there you have it. You give him strength, he doesn't really need it. Bonus to characteristics, maybe. Pinpoint accuracy. No, his ballistic skill isn't that good. Armor penetration, I'm not really sure what his is. Whenever the character is healed, it doesn't happen. Whenever the character loses wounds, the next melee attack gains 1 damage for every 2 wounds the character's lost. Maybe interesting. Doesn't have any deflection. Light armor, the dodge is increased by half of the armor percent bonus of that armor. That would give him 20 dodge right now. Okay. So that would give him a reasonable amount more dodge. I do also like this one. Any damage is increased by 1 for every attack they've made this combat. So that gives them some base damage that can then be multiplied. Every melee attack reducing armor as well. The dodge reduction one is also very nice because it's 5% difference between character's dodge reduction and the enemy's dodge. If an enemy has 0% dodge, suddenly you're looking very, very good. Like the enemies that we saw last time were like maxing out around 80 dodge, right? So even then he has a 50 bonus on it, which would be plus 10% damage. Yeah. That's pretty good. 1% for every 5. Yeah, so that'd be 10% extra damage, which is tripled for critical hits, which he has been doing. Why did I say tripled? Tripled. Anyway, so that'd be 30% extra damage. 30% damage increase is so nice. Yeah, I mean, a 30% damage increase is, like, really good. Although it is before you apply the armor, so they may have been wearing armor, but still, that's very good. And we can guarantee that it could become much higher, right? Like, if we were to use expose weakness on an enemy first to lower their dodge to almost 0, gain 130, which is 20, 26. Yeah, so that would be like 27 base, and then if you get a critical hit, it'd be 60. That'd be like 81% extra damage. Yeah, okay, I think I sold myself on 81% extra damage. While Mara's eye is bleeding, his fellowship and willpower is increased by 15. It's okay. While bleeding, he gains toughness percent bonus additional armor. It's okay. While he's bleeding, every kill he makes grants him a stacking bonus to weapon skill and ballistic skill. You already know what I'm going to say about that. It's okay. Yeah, don't think we need that. Crowd kill, area effect stuff. They've not attacked this turn. They gain extra armor. Warrior uses a single shot attack or melee attack against a target. The warrior gains armor for attacks against that target. Don't need it. If you have less than 50% wounds, he gains a bunch of critical hit chance, which he doesn't need. Nope. Nope. Whenever the warrior is hit under the endure effect, their damage deflection is increased by 1 until the warrior's next turn. Nope. Charges it does more damage, but not a lot. Whenever the warrior parries an attack, don't think we need to do that one yet. There are no enemies adjacent to the warrior at the start of their turn. The warrior's damage is increased by 2 times strength bonus for 1 melee attack. Charge and push increase the damage of ranged attacks made against the affected target. Don't need it. Increase charge distance by 3 cells. No. Reckless strike gains 2 times willpower. Weapon skill percent bonus critical hit chance. Gains damage deflection. Oh, okay. It's where you look at them all and you're like, I didn't want any of these. I don't think any of them are good for the way we're building them. Whenever the warrior parries attack, their next warrior archetype ability costs 1 less. Maybe. Maybe I just take one of these. When he's bleeding, every kill gives him a bonus. While bleeding, he gains toughness percent, 3 times toughness, additional armor. Maybe. I guess his willpower being higher would give him like a bonus against psychic things. Fellowship being higher would do nothing, I guess. That would be cool. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure what we need here. Maybe I take the parry one. I mean, it could be okay. I guess it would then allow us to use that 2 AP one for 1 AP, which would be a much better move. Yeah, let's take interception, I guess. Yeah, okay. Jai. Okay, so you're actually one where we kind of care about these extra turn ones. So, after an ally takes an extra turn, provided by the character, the ally gains armor, dodge, and movement points until the end of combat. Cool. Nope. Willpower as long as they have no ranged weapons. Not really the way we play. Don't really put debuffs on people. Don't really attack. Don't really attack. Don't really attack. Just going down the list. Don't attack. Don't attack. Don't attack. Don't push. More action points. Don't really need it, although I guess it could allow us to attack on the first turn. Whenever an ally takes an extra turns, they gain 15% more damage. Okay. Any extra turns that give MP give more MP. If they give AP, they give more AP. That seems fine. Gain int bonus. It doesn't matter because we don't have any int. Okay, we're almost through this. To see if we have anything that seems more useful. It's 5 to all characteristics. I'm just taking that on everyone to be like, hey, if you haven't got anything better to take, plus 5 to a characteristic is plus 5 to a characteristic. You know, it's worth thinking about. Okay. I think Firebrand is really good. I think more MP is good. I think more AP is good. I think that makes the extra turn a lot better, which increases the value for it. I then think taking the extra damage is good, and then I think probably taking this seems good, but we'll see. Right. So now we get to take some officer level things, huh? Okay, what have we got in here? Armor of Contempt. Whenever an ally affected by an officer's ability or talent that grants temporary wounds, that ally's armor is increased by 10%. Okay. Allies under the effect of the officer's abilities gain a bonus to their weapon skill equal to 3 plus the officer's fell bonus and deal 8 more damage on attacks of opportunity until the start of the officer's next turn. Whenever an ally uses a heroic act, the ally gains temporary wounds equal to 10% of their maximum wounds plus resolve. Potentially really good. Focus. Whenever the officer uses an ability on an ally, the ally gains a bonus to their perception and ballistic skill equal to 8, which is your fellowship bonus. These bonuses stack, but half the stacks rounded up are lost at the end of the target's turn. Okay. Potential. Inspire Courage. Whenever the officer targets an ally with an ability for the first time in a round, they gain 3 temporary wounds. That must be like equal to intelligence. Allies affected by the officer's abilities gain a bonus to all resistance tests equal to 2 times the officer's willpower bonus. Not very good. Whenever the officer uses an officer archetype ability 2 times in 1 turn that does not grant an extra turn, they gain the stand witness effect. The next officer archetype ability that does not grant an extra turn will also affect the officer. Okay. If the target bring it down... The target bring it down gains 1 AP if they finish their extra turn using this ability with 0 AP. They will suffer 3 direct damage. Okay, so it gives you another AP on your extra turn. Okay. So that would give you 4 AP on your extra turn. So it was an F, Firebrand. There we go. So that would potentially give you 4 AP on your extra turn for only 3 damage. That's not bad. Whenever the officer targets an ally with an action, an ability or attack that the ally's resolve, that ally's resolve is increased by 1 until the officer's next turn. It stacks and is prolonged until the end of the officer's next turn each time it stacks. Cannot be prolonged past the officer's next turn. Whenever an ally starts a turn, including any extra turn adjacent to the officer, doesn't happen. Take aim also increases damage next range attack by 2% for each cell between the attacker and the target. No. Resolve is increased by 3. No. Targets that move, gain bonus to dodge and cover efficiency. Okay. Well, we have a lot in here that are good. I gotta say, the one that really speaks to me is probably more than possible. I think that seems really good. You gain more AP, so it give you 4 AP on that turn, right? Thanks to the other thing we took. And you only take the damage if you use it, which means you're only taking the damage if you need to take the damage. And it's 3. 3 must be is willpower. So if you have a lot of willpower, this would actually hurt the target, but because our willpower is garbage, it's actually pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Wonderful! We have finally leveled up. And that took a very long time. And yes, that is the entire episode. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.